I'm back! So now that I've finished all those Steven Spielberg movies, finally got all those out of the way, what am I supposed to do now? Well, since Steven Spielberg is like my second favorite director at this point, I think I thought I'd talk about who I would say is my favorite director, Stanley Kubrick. And we're going to talk about a couple of his movies. I'm not going to talk about all of them, just about 5 of them. Like my 5 favorites, I guess. I don't know. And so we're going to start with Paths of Glory from 1957. I just watched this one last night, so it's all fresh in my brain. So it's directed by Stanley Kubrick, like I said, and this guy really interests me. He made some really great movies in his lifetime, but he was also apparently a very difficult person to work with. And just learning about him is very interesting. He was a really kind of a weird guy, but he made some great looking movies. His Paths of Glory is about, it takes place during World War One, and it's about some French soldiers, down in the trenches, and they're given an impossible task to take over this ant hill. It's not an ant hill. It's a hill that the Germans have under control. They call it the ant hill, and they're given the impossible task of taking it over. That's the basic plot. I'll go into depth later about the rest of the story. But so that's kind of basically what it's about. It stars Kirk Douglas, and he was really good in the movie. The guy who plays the captain, let me look up his name, Ralph Meeker. He was pretty decent in the movie. Those 2 performances were pretty good. There are a few others that were good, but there were also some other people in the movie that I don't think weren't that great of actors. They didn't give great performances. It just didn't feel natural, I guess. I don't know. And then some of the editing in the movie was kind of awkward. Like, they'd still be talking in a scene, and then they'd start to fade away. Like, I'll give you an example right here. It would look a little something like this. We're going to go with tackling. It's just something like that. It's just kind of weird, right? And also, some of the cinematography was really good in the movie. There were just some shots where I'm like, that's a little weird. At times, just a few. Like at one point, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they the film this. I don't know, but they're shooting someone like this, and then they cut to them up like that a little bit more. It just was really kind of weird. You might not even notice it. But these are just some minor complaints about the movie I had. I don't know. Other than just some people that weren't too great in it, some weird editing at times. It was all really. The movie was really good. The cinematography was mostly really good in the movie. There were some really great shots in the movie, like the final scene. Well, not the final scene, but the big end scene that I'll get into later was shot really nicely. So anyways, a really good looking movie. Also, the scene where they attacked the anthill I thought was pretty good. I noticed it when I watched the movie, but I didn't really think of saying this until I watched some other person's opinion, but I thought it was also pretty interesting once I heard what he said, if that makes any sense to you. But the whole movie, you never see any German soldiers. The only people you see are the French. And I realized that when I saw the movie, but I didn't really think about it until I saw another review for it. But I thought that was pretty interesting because like the guy said, in war, most of the time you don't even see who you're killing. So I thought that was actually kind of interesting. So anyways, that's a basic review of Paths of Glory. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail now. If you haven't seen the movie and you want to see the movie, which I don't know who does, I don't know who's actually watching this, well, I don't know, then just stop watching. But anyways, I like the movie. I'd give it like a 8.5. Pretty good. So anyways, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth about the story. So anyways, they go and try to attack the anthill, but they just, some people can't even leave the trenches without dying, and they're just being attacked so much that people have to retreat, and you know, there's no way that they're gonna get to this hill. No one even makes it there, and the one captain, who ordered the attack, that he was kind of like, I don't care if if a bunch of our people die. I want to get this hill, and because it'll help me get a rank above what I am. I don't care how many people are die. And when he sees the people not advancing and stuff, because it's impossible to take this hill, he starts ordering his own men to kill his men who aren't advancing. Like he tells the gunners to kill the guys in the trenches, and of course they refuse and stuff. And anyways, the battle fails. Nothing good comes out of it. And the general's the captain is not too happy about this, and he wants to blame it on the soldiers, not him. He wants to blame it on the people because they were cowards and didn't attack. And he eventually executes 3 men to show an example for the rest of the troop, I guess. Because he's like, you were all cowards, so we're going to kill these 3 men, you know, of our own men, to show an example of why you shouldn't, something, you know. I didn't explain that too well, but anyways, Kirk Douglas kind of doesn't agree with this. He's like, I was out there. There was no way we could have, you know, taken this hill. These guys aren't cowards. Why are you doing this? And I found that really interesting. That was probably the greatest part of the movie, was this story between these 2 characters, and doing like kind of what's right. And it was just crazy, you know. This guy, he's like, doesn't care if his own men die, so that he can become general, or, you know, the next rank above, or whatever. That's just sick. But, you know, that's what I feel like this was so well done, because you understand where this guy's coming from, you know. Although what he's doing is totally wrong and messed up, you know. You understand what he's doing, why he's doing it. And you understand Kirk Douglas. He doesn't think that's right. So that's what I feel like some movies don't do well today. They have a person and another person, and they're just angry at each other, and you don't understand why. Like Batman vs Superman. Why are these 2 people fighting? They have no real clear goals. Like, this movie was perfect because you understand why the bad character is bad, why he's doing this. He actually has a good point, even though it's not right, and you have the other person fighting for what's right. Anyways, that was kind of a little tangent, but anyways, it was really well done with that. I also really liked the execution scene, like I said earlier. Really shot really well. Very intense. The whole scene is very long. Kind of like what Kubrick does, he has very long takes. That's done throughout the whole movie, and it really builds the tension there. I watched it with my dad, and he was talking about it, and he said he felt like someone was gonna, you know, stop it or save them or something, and it never happened. And I feel like it was done really well. Like, it's building. It's like, is something gonna save them? And no. So anyways, I think that's all I really have to say about this movie. It was done really well. Very interesting story, great characters. Um, like I said earlier, I'd give it like a 8.5 or so. Good movie, and it's not a long movie too, so that's nice because I like long movies, but sometimes you don't want to sit for 3 hours. You just want to get it over with, I guess. Maybe not get it over with, but you know, you don't feel like watching a really long movie. So this movie should be good for some people because people are dumb like me. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I need water. My mouth is all dry. Anyways, thank you for watching, and see you next time.